Welcome to Club Domingo, brought to you by Cyclone Comics.
I've pressed record.
Here he comes.
Oh, God, bloody cup of tea top up. Desperado. How you going?
I am okay. How are you?
Oh, okay. Sorry for pressing record, but I pressed record. I've got to get this turkey show on the road.
Sounds good to me.
It's Tuesday
Let's go.
morning. It's pissing down rain outside here in Tasmania.
Really?
Yes, we've got a wet week. Yes.
Slower than a wet week.
In Tasmania, yes.
Did your mum used to say that? Come on, you're slower than a wet week.
I think she did, although she included some swear words.
Yeah, right.
Terms of endearment.
I didn't understand what that meant for so long. It's like if you're at home and can't do anything because it's raining for the week, it's a very long, slow week, I guess. Is that what it is?
Yep.
You're slower than a wet week.
Did you hate wet weather days at school where you're forced to stay inside and do, little lunch and big lunch activities? Because in high school, in year 10, we called it little lunch and big lunch. So,
Still in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, we probably did too.
no, what do the new people say? Recess.
Yeah, recess and
lunch break. Yeah. Oh, bloody, the world's gone woke with their little lunches. Recess. Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm in one of those moods today. Watch out.
Good. You're going to carry the show today.
Why? I was going to say the same thing to you. You have to carry the show today.
I've been continuing to watch old episodes of Club Domingo.
Oh, Club Domingo. Oh, yeah.
amongst other things. I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. There's an archive online, isn't there? Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
This dribble just doesn't fall off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, kiddies. There's old episodes if you want.
And what are you up to?
They're really good. The high 20s now, I think.
What were we talking about back then a year ago?
Well, so this week I watched the one where we talked about Substack and other kind of Patreon sort of things.
Yeah, right. Don't get me started on Substack.
Really? Have you gone off Substack or you like?
Oh, wasn't I off it a year ago?
You not so much off it, but you weren't a big proponent of it. I'm still like because I'm getting closer and closer to finishing this trade paperback.
Yes.
I'm going to start my Substack after that. So.
Oh, what? You're not going to fall victim to the devil, are you?
I need a newsletter.
It's just a trend. Every man and his dog is on Substack, and the only decent one to read is Howard Chaykin's.
The only decent one.
The only decent one. Oh, okay. And Vito's as well. Vito Del Santo's. Oh, okay. And Dean Haspel's one as well. But other than that, Colleen Duran as well. But other than that, not that I read Substack.
I feel like it's
a trend. It's trendy. What time is it now? Give it a couple of hours and Substack will fall over. They'll just promote bloody right-wing nut jobs and bloody...
I remember when we were doing the talk, we forgot to say that they're all for free speech, but they don't silence the free speech when it impinges on other people. But
yeah, there are plenty of people I bump into on Substack, and I go, just shut the fuck up.
Isn't that every open social space in the world now?
I look in the mirror and say that. Just shut the fuck up, Gary. No one wants to hear it. In fact, Belle says that a lot. No one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear it, Chal. Quote, unquote. Put that on a T-shirt. No one wants to hear it, Chal.
Is that what she calls you? She calls you Chal.
When she's in an abusive mood, yeah.
So that's not a term of endearment.
No, a few people call me Chal. Right. Of course, Chaloner is too hard to manage.
Yeah, Australia.
All those syllables too. Oh, God.
Cello.
Cello, yeah.
Hey, Cellos.
The most broken down nickname I ever had was Irk. There was a workmate from New Zealand that I worked with in a typesetting house, and it went from Gary to Gaz to Gazurkel to Irk the Gurk, just to Irk.
That's fair enough.
And I'd answer to it as well, like from across the work floor. He'd say, "Hey, Irk, And I turn and say, yeah, what do you want? I'm more for me. Idiot.
Yeah. But when you explain it like that, it makes complete sense. That's a sensible
Strip it
nickname.
back, strip it back, strip it back.
That was one of the routines that Roy and HG used to do on a regular basis. Roy would sit for a good, like, I don't know, 90 seconds nonstop and relate one nickname to the next, to the next, to the next, all off the top of his
all
head.
linked.
Yeah, to get to a nickname that they would end up calling a footballer for the rest of the decade.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with nicknames, though, with this one in particular, with Irk, it was like a couple of months of the interim terms being used, like until it finally de-evolved to the next stage and to the next stage and to the next stage.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dave the Kiwi. Wonder what he's doing now. And we never de-evolved his name. It was always just Dave the Kiwi. That
Dave
was
the
it.
Kiwi.
Yeah.
Is that where you got the name from for for the Kiwi behind the bar?
No, Kiwi Calhoun.
That's right, Kiwi Calhoun.
No similarities to living or dead Kiwis in that book.
Right.
Not the way I drew him anyway, with all the sharp angles and
Yep. Exactly.
yeah, yes. So anyway, before we press record, we were talking about old movies and how I was going through a bit of a rewatch of the pre-American Alfred Hitchcock thrillers.
You had some hot takes that got us onto that conversation. We probably shouldn't.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, I really enjoyed The Lady Vanishes. I really enjoyed Saboteur. And then I got Notorious with Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman and thought it was a big pile of shit that didn't stand up at all.
Yeah, which it surprised you, right?
Yeah, well, it did, because I'm a bit of a Cary Grant fan, and yeah, he's in a lot of good stuff. But this one he was totally miscast because there was no sense of humour to his character, like at all. He was playing it dead straight, and it was a bit of a misfire, I think. Plus, the actual plot was a bit, a bit bottom tier as well. So I was a bit unimpressed with Hitchcock's choices. But anyway, totally over.
I was pretty late to the game to watch Psycho. Like I only watched it, I don't know, 15 or 20 years ago. But
so ahead of its time.
And of course I knew that the shower scene was coming. But is it a spoiler if I give away some
not after this long?
But yeah, the person that you would think would be the female lead is dead within, was it 15 or 20 minutes? And it's like, oh wow, this is cool. Like I thought I was going to watch her for an hour and a half, and she's gone. I'm going, oh, this is cool. What are we doing next? Because that ends up giving you like all of a sudden in your own mind, like all preconceptions are gone of what you think the story could be, because the lead, who you think the lead is gone, and you go, wow.
And it was had such an adult modern approach of the people having an affair in the work hours at the beginning of the movie, and the way the movie and his decisions on how to frame scenes. It's all very next generation for its time. It's way ahead of its time. So it deserves its position as a classic for sure. Yeah. Yes.
Well, one of the other episodes I watched recently was the episode where we talked about the Fantastic Four and Superman movies. We talked about them during one episode.
So long ago.
I know. And I said I'll probably be watching Fantastic Four as soon as it hits streaming, and I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Like I haven't watched it. But that was one of those episodes where I think we took up almost the entire episode talking about film. And yes, they were comic films, and it was like, we're not talking about comics. Why aren't we talking about comics? So, yeah.
We should talk about comics.
We should. Yeah.
What about poor old Sam Kieth?
Isn't that sad? How old was he? Like,
he's 63. He's my age.
Oh my God, your actual age.
Yeah. As of next Monday. Yeah.
Right. Oh,
my birthday's coming up next Monday. So next Tuesday is going to be a birthday show.
Fantastic. Bring your own cake.
Where I open up all of my presents on camera.
Oh my God. What will I send? I'll send you something. I don't know.
Those hacks.
Yeah, what a couple of hacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah,
Sam Keith, what an interesting artist and such a stylist, and he didn't change his style for anyone, and yet the industry made room for him to be a superstar.
yeah,
Like Image Comics and the Wolverine series in Marvel Comics Presents, and all the different things that he did. It was sort of like he didn't have to make way for the comic industry; the comic industry had to make way for him.
yeah.
Uh,
How do you think that was enabled? How did that happen? What came first, the Max or work for hire?
My understanding is that he did a couple of creator-owned things, or like smaller company stuff, and then he was hired on to do Wolverine in Marvel Comics Presents, and because that was like an experimental anthology that he could get away with presenting his art the way it was,
Yeah.
and then he got a following from that, and I think then he got headhunted to join Image and did the Max.
Right.
I think that's the order of things. And again,
Right.
no research. And but I was exposed to his work really when I was working with Ashley Wood back in the day. He was a bit of a Sam Keith fan as well.
Mm.
And, so he was shoving all this stuff in front of me, going, "Look at this! This looks fantastic. This guy," and purely because the artwork was so outsider, so unusual, and of course, Ashley's attracted to that kind of stuff immediately anyway.
Yeah.
Anyone that can rock the boat is, more power to them, kind of thing. So
Yeah, a lot of people have been posting like their fan art of the Max and there was Ashley did as well, and I don't know if it was fan art or whether it was collaborations or what, but yeah, Ashley was saying that they were actually collaborating on PopBot at one point. I think
right.
Yeah, he was being helped in the plotting and the writing of PopBot. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
he was a bit upset about it as well. It's really sad, and especially when they're so young. When we're so young, I don't feel like I'm getting close to dying. What the hell's going on? So
Yeah, there's a lot of it going on. There's a lot of this dying business going on. Look, we'll have to do something about that. But so plus, I think he had what do they call it, Lewy body dementia.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is in the same family as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So sort of like a little bit close to home, sort of like my age and with a cousin ailment. So I hope his last 6 months to a year were okay. A lot of people were asking questions apparently as to why he receded from the industry, and I think he just did a quiet quitting of things because of his ailments and the disease probably getting on top of him.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox and Parkinson's, he says several times that I don't know whether it's a similar thing with what Sam Keith was suffering with, but you don't die of Parkinson's, you die with Parkinson's. So it's just your body becomes more compromised, and so you're more liable to have a trip or fall over or to choke on something that you can't swallow properly, or you can't use your body the way you can. So you're in more danger of being in a precarious situation.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
Like lately, not this summer, but the previous summer when I'd go to the beach quite regularly, I noticed that my balance was off and my reaction time with waves coming in, because I love body surfing and just being in salt water. So I was doing that, but I realized that my reaction time was compromised. I have to be more aware of what I'm doing in the surf, because my body can't react as quickly as it used to, even as an unafflicted 63-year-old. Now you have to be sort of I have to be careful of what I do and how I do it. Of course, my body is still wired to, you can make that jump, but no, maybe you shouldn't jump, Barry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, interesting. So,
can we talk a bit more about how you're coping with your Parkinson's? Do you feel like that's leveled out recently, or do you find it fluctuates?
It definitely fluctuates.
Yeah, right.
Definitely. There are some days are better than others, and you're always, adjusting your meds as well. Not daily, but you're, over a series of weeks, you're finding that maybe you should pump it up, or there's too much happening. Because if you have too much of the Parkinson's meds, it brings in its own set of side effects. So you try and balancing act between the side effects of the meds and it being effective to dim the Parkinson's symptoms, which is invariably is shaky hand and and your walk is not as fluid, and your balance is compromised, and all that kind of stuff. So
right.
yeah, it's funny though. The Parkinson's is sort of like on my right side of my body, from my leg to my arm, and to the right side of my face and skull. And I've developed a bit of a speech impediment. I don't know whether everyone's noticed out there, but I never used to have a speech impediment. That I find that I'm with my S's, that my right side of my mouth is starting to drag a little bit, and my tongue doesn't make the proper connection to make the S's that I used to make.
It might be obvious to you being on the inside of that body.
Being on the other side.
Yeah, it's not. I haven't.
You don't want to be on this side. You don't want to be on this side.
Even before Parkinson's, I wouldn't have wanted to be on the inside of that one.
You got that right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. So yes, it's an ongoing thing. There is no it's like going backwards. It's going to be a slow crawl forwards of my body slowly shutting down or being compromised in a lot of different ways. Just an extension of what I'm going through now, of the lack of balance, lack of reflexes, speech impediment. And everyone's different. Everyone who's got Parkinson's is affected in a different way. Some will be like hit pretty hard with it immediately, like the young onset Parkinson's, and some of them will have a very long life of 20, 30 years of having Parkinson's. It doesn't really get that much worse. It gets worse, but just not over a long period of time, not as much as some other people who might have 1 or 2 years with Parkinson's, and it gets quite bad quite quickly.
Yeah, right. Okay. So more comics more often, Gary.
Yeah. So the more normal I look and the less shaky I look, the more medicated I am.
Right.
That means the meds are actually working well. If I'm unmedicated or I need to be topped up, that means you can actually see some of the symptoms more readily from an outsider point of view.
Right.
And that's just the visible side of Parkinson's. The mental side of things, which a lot of people don't really understand, is the lack of energy, the foggy thought processes, the apathy. The apathy is a big one, which I can talk to that from a what do you do when you don't get the stuff? Word loss is another good thing, but when you put things off, procrastinate. Yeah. For years, I was suffering severe procrastination before I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and now in hindsight, I do believe that apathy and that what was the word that I just said? Procrastination. Thank you. Yeah, procrastination was probably a very early sign of Parkinson's before I was officially diagnosed.
Yeah.
So that's interesting in of itself. That I have to be aware of, and again, not hit myself over the head too hard about having a bad day and writing off the day, going, no, it's going to be pointless. Even though my arm is not shaking and I can hold a pen, I'm not there in my head. It's just going to be staring at the board, and whatever I do is not going to be much of anything. Yeah. So just write the day off, do something else. So it's assessing all the time, I suppose, which in and of itself can be a little bit tiring over a period of time.
Yeah.
I find that my right hand side, because the pulsing down the electric pulsing of the muscles of the shake that you get with Parkinson's is going all the time, even when it's medicated, that my bicep is actually quite developed on my right hand side as opposed to my left, because there's a constant current going through it. Like I can hear it in my head. You may not be able to see it because my hands now are kind of well medicated, but in my head I'm still feeling this little. It's just the Parkinson's wanting to get that message going to the right hand side of my body to no, do it like that. Doing that now to me is very comfortable. It's very comforting. Just I could sit there and just do that. Like don't call me a wanker. That's very comforting, that rhythmic thing. But I could do that all day and it'll be exhausting. So that's something that I try to minimize as much as possible as well. But if you're taking the right meds and the right dosage, you should appear relatively normal as other people are.
Yeah. So, who wants to be normal?
Who wants to be normal? Yeah. So that's so today is a good Parkinson's day, from what I can gather. But it is noticeable over the last 6 or so months that I've developed this this drag on my tongue with making the S sound. So I'm assuming that it'll only get worse as the years go by. But yeah. So interesting.
Yeah, right.
And
you go to the beach this year again, right? We're coming up to summer, aren't we? No, we're coming up to winter.
Coming up to winter. The summer season in Tasmania has been absolutely pathetic. So we're already going downhill. This weekend is the end of daylight savings. Not this weekend, the next weekend. Easter weekend. And so we're going back down into the darkness of Tasmanian winter again. And I didn't get to go for one swim because it was only about 3 days that are worthwhile in all of summer this year. So maybe next year.
Yeah, I'll move to Sydney.
Oh, too muggy.
You're muggy.
Too muggy, as in you leave your hotel room and you get mugged.
Exactly.
I remember one year, it was probably about 10 years ago now, that I was staying in a hotel in Sydney, and I was going to a convention that was somewhere in Sydney, and I had a shower in the morning, got myself all ready, had my folder of art, went down into the foyer. It was all air conditioned. Went out onto, I think it was, what street is the State Theatre in?
In Market, I think.
In Market Street. The hotel was on Market Street. I think it was across the road from the State Theatre or just up the road.
Yeah.
And I went out and I was waiting at the set of lights, and it was so humid, and I just started sweating and sweating and sweating. I just turned around and went back into the hotel, went back up into my hotel room, put everything down, took all my clothes off, went back into the shower. That's better.
Oh, my God. What a wimp.
Oh, God. Sydney humidities.
Oh, it's nothing compared to like Queensland, Brisbane humidity.
Yeah, true. But, I wasn't, at least if you're on holidays in Queensland, you're down to your board shorts or your swimming trunks.
Yeah. So, you're right. You really don't want to leave Tasmania.
I think I'm totally acclimatized to the relatively chilly weather down here.
Yeah.
So when it gets to, 27, 28, I start complaining. We all start complaining down here as, it's bloody warm, get to the beach. Don't go in the water, though. It's bloody cold.
Oh, well. All right. So what have you been up to this week? What have you gotten done?
Let's see. Not a hell of a lot of drawing. Why did this week go so fast? I've been working on a CD cover for a client. One of the local bands down here is releasing a CD, so I've been working on that.
Good.
I'm at the inking stages of that. That's to Craig Ferguson. Then he used to do that with his emails. But anyway, yes, working on that. So I'll work on that the next couple of days and get that finished. And then I've got some annual leave next week around my birthday, leading up to Easter, which means I can get stuck into doing some Jackaroo and some werewolves.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So actual page art, you'll be...
Yeah. I actually have started, but nothing to really show any of the peeps. So,
all right. Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm as I was saying before we hit record, I'm a week or two out from finishing all of the remastering.
You are so close.
It's very exciting, and I look to the left where I've got the pages sitting, and I look to the right where I've got an empty drawing board, and I'm going, like so close to getting back on there. I'm pretty sure the next project I'll do will be a quick one, so that I can just get some new actual comics out after the trade paperback goes to press. So I'll probably be doing the first issue of Team Up. Because I've got all of the pencils from Emmanuel Hernandez. I've had them for ages.
Now this is the Killaroo, Trevor.
Yeah.
How many pages is it aiming to be, or that it is?
Is it 14 or 16 pages for that? There's two stories, two shorts. Let me just pull it up. So 14 pages for the Killaroo Trevor Bovis team up.
Yep.
And then there's also a 10-page Headbutt the Hippo team up as well in the back.
That continues into issue 2, does it?
And that will continue into issue 2. So there'll be 20 pages of Trevor and Rocky and Hairbutt and
has
shenanigans.
Has Jace drawn about 80 pages?
No, he only drew 20. But he drew them like that.
Yeah.
I keep on every time I've put together a mock-up or a like a story reel of everything I've got so far for Team Up. So all the pencils and the Captain Congo one is, half of it is really lovely pencils and half of it is still pretty very sketchy. And so, but I've just got it all in one document, so I've got it there. And I just looked through it this morning and while I was getting ready to come on and I'm going, it would have taken me a while, but I wish I'd inked those pages of Jason's to the point where I'm almost thinking, shall I just print out blue lines of what he's given me and ink it anyway? But I think that would be silly. They're ready to print, so I should just go with them.
The smart person would just print what you got.
The smart person probably wouldn't be doing a team up in the first place. But anyway, that's like that's not a real cover. That's a
Thank God for that. That's crap.
that's imagery from the Killaroo team up, like from one of the panels, and I just blew it up to make a mock cover. I kind of settled on that as a logo, but because it's sat there for so long, I'm going, I don't know that I like that logo.
Isn't that a problem where you satisfy yourself one afternoon, then the longer you leave it, the more you start to not like it?
Yeah, exactly.
That happens a lot with me as well.
So I don't know.
And yet I'm a victim of wanting to have a cover layout all done before the issue is started, do some cover ideas to get the creative juices flowing.
Right.
So, I sort of put the cart before the horse to a certain extent, but that's the way I work. So, but that's looking good. But it reminds me of something. It reminds me of a Hellboy cover layout with the band of color or the band across the top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just slightly. I mean, just as an observation.
Yeah. I don't know that that's going to have to be there. It depends on what I draw for the cover. But
right. Yeah.
If I'm going to have like all that information kind of, because I'll probably have information about who's in there, Hairbart and Trevor and Killaroo and Rocky and, like that's a lot of information. So maybe that will go at the top or the bottom in bands. I don't know.
How are you going to handle the short film with these printed items? Are you going to include editorial or a back cover ad or something to do with the film, or are you going to keep them slightly separated so that it doesn't, in inverted commas, date?
I don't know. I'm happy for it to date. I like the idea of periodical comics, floppies,
feeling of their time.
Yeah. I think that's great. I still have people say, when they've bought the first 4 issues at a convention and they come back, the next year to buy the next 4 or whatever of the old Greener Pastures, how much they enjoy the old school idea of a letters column and an editorial and all of that stuff, which you don't, maybe see so much anymore. So I'm fine for it to be dated. One of the things we used to do with the old Greener Pastures, right, is because we were offset printing, and we had it whatever page count we wanted. So this is issue 5, which was 28 pages of story.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a single issue, ended up to being 2 issues, and the first issue is 28 pages. It meant that we were using, in printing terms, forms of 8 pages per form, right? Where all the pages would be ganged up together, and then after it came through the printing, it would be folded down to size, stapled and cut. But they were done in lots of 8. Unlike, when you're doing digital, it's just lots of 4 because you've got a sheet of paper that is folded in half, and that's 4 pages, right? But we were doing at least 8, maybe 16, depending on what machine they were going to put us on.
Are those things called signatures? I think they're called signatures.
Yeah, signatures or forms. Yeah. I think isn't a signature more for when you're doing a book with a spine and you have it's almost like having a series of floppies in there, and then they're all bound together. Each one of those is a signature.
Yeah. In book terminology, definitely. In magazine terminology, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, because that would be a single signature, but it's made up of several forms, I guess.
Yeah, it's all stitched or glued together to make a book.
Yeah. So like, again, I don't know if this is the best example, but pages and pages of this is a pretty good example. Pages and pages of letters, right, and ads, because I had pages to fill. So there's an ad for signing tour, and then an ad for Michael's dad's hairdresser. And then we had the letters pages, right? So it's 1, 3, 5, 6 pages of letters, and then some more ads,
Yeah.
and then
Because
fan art.
you would have got a fair bit of mail back in the day.
Oh, we got heaps, and then
Yeah.
photos.
You've got piles.
And letters as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, heaps of
Yeah.
stuff like to fill it up. So
I suppose I'll answer my own question by saying that you will promote the short film because you have to, because all these comics are to buttress the movie and vice versa.
Vice versa. Yeah, exactly. Well, where I was heading with that though is that now that it's digital printing and I only have to add page counts in lots of 4, and I've got to keep the cost down, because if you added a signature to a 5 to 10,000 print run, it didn't actually cost that much more per unit.
Right.
Well, now if you add 4 more pages, it's going to cost a bit more, and so I'll be reining that in significantly. The amount of pages that will be added, unfortunately. So yeah, if I want to do some letters, if I want to do some advertising for upcoming conventions or a screening or whatever. So yeah, that's one thing I haven't really gotten a handle on yet. And I probably won't until we do issue 9, which will be after the first team up. And I really see, like, I'll get a quote for the number of pages that I have to have, and then for another 4 and another 4, and see if it's how much more will it cost to do that added value for the reader. I feel like it's value adding. And how much will that cut into my profit margin? Because stuff like that I thought was really cool, showing photos. And I know now it's basically social media. This was us at a convention. You'd see it in my socials instead. So maybe that kind of stuff doesn't happen. But then there's not a historical document that.
Yeah, I think it's valid to include it still.
Yeah. So, and it's all like all I'm doing is still going back to very old school mentality of what was happening in what do you call it? Self-publishing at the time.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have we discussed likes and dislikes about the extras you get in a crowdfunding campaign? Are you a bit of a fan for that kind of stuff, or do you keep them at a minimum?
I personally keep it to a minimum. I'm not a fan of it at all, and I've got nowhere to put postcards and bookmarks. And
a lot of people could suggest where you can put it.
Well, that's true. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, and it's not what I'm here for.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, I agree.
So it's definitely reflected in my Kickstarter campaigns going forward, I think.
Yeah. And a great quote that Lee Chalker, a friend of the show and a friend of mine or ours, said is, just give me the fucking comic.
That's right. Yep. Especially if it's going to eat into your profit margins.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know we can sell them, and I do. I put when the 2 Kickstarters I've done so far. It's only 2, yeah. You could buy the comic, but you could also buy all the back issues, but also the trading cards that you printed for Adventure Illustrated. I've still got some of those, so I put them in there as well. So things like if there's something here, the tote bags, if I've got something to sell, I'll put it up on the Kickstarter, but I don't think I'm going to create a bunch of things specifically for a Kickstarter.
I've actually got quite a neat little collection of tote bags, and it sort of came out of left of field. I didn't set out to collect these things, but geez, they're good and they're very handy. And I've got a Dylan one, I've got a Greener Pastures one, and I've got a Gene Whitlock Space Cat one. I've got a couple of others as well, and they're great to have. They're nifty little collector's items.
Yeah, so, they're a thing of the time, aren't they?
Yeah. So I like going out wearing them all at once over my shoulder. So just all these totes everywhere. It's like a Rob Liefeld superhero, but with tote bags.
Not pouches.
Tote man.
Yeah, cool. So yeah. And it's, the other thing is the alternate covers, and I know you've done alternate covers for
Yeah, I don't like them. I don't
variant
like them.
covers for Adventure Illustrated 1 and 2.
If I had my time, but that was a different thing because you were playing a part in the content. Like the book was divvied into three, and the alternate covers were part of that whole creative decision-making process. But as far as I'm going for things like the Jackaroo that I'm doing, there'll be no alternative covers. It'll just be the comic, and that's it.
Yeah, I can't see myself doing alternate covers for anything unless I really um, not have to. Like, I don't want to make out as if I'm being forced to. But for example, with Adventure Illustrated 2, because you also had a Killaroo crossover there,
Yep.
and Darren asked for a Killaroo cover,
An exclusive. Yep.
an exclusive, yeah. So Darren's already asking me, can we do that for Team Up 1, which we'll do.
Yeah.
I'll probably pencil that and he'll ink it.
Right.
And it'll be a Killaroo centric cover, or more centric anyway, while the general cover will definitely be more, at least 3 characters, Trevor, Hairbutt, Killaroo, if not even more than that. So
Yeah.
But otherwise I wouldn't be doing the extra cover. And I know for Green Pastures 8, I really looked hard to try to find somebody of a really high stature who might be able to do me a variant Kickstarter exclusive cover. So I reached out to a few international friends, etc., and came up empty, which was not a surprise. But and once I tried really hard to get that alternate cover to happen, and it wasn't happening. I went, why am I like I've spent so much time on this? It's not actually going to help that much.
Can I ask who you would have liked?
Phil Noto was the one I really wanted to try to get.
Right. Okay.
Because we had gotten pretty friendly the couple of times he'd come to Australia for conventions. And really nice guy. I love his work, and I thought I could hit him up and see what we could work out.
Making an offer he couldn't refuse, but he refused.
I wish I was able to, because I obviously didn't. And it's really weird. I think a lot of people think that because of my, I don't like to talk about the Supernova convention very much for many varied reasons, and anyone who knows me personally probably knows a lot of the reasons, but because I was involved with Supernova for so long, people really think that I got in really tight with all of the comic book people who came over, and I barely knew any of them, and I barely like spoke to any of them. It was just an unfortunate
you were running around like a headless chook.
Definitely people who were Australian comic book guests of a tour ended up knowing and making friends with these international guests far more than I ever did.
And you were too busy wandering around with your sketchbook.
Well, that's right. There was
drawing this. Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. And I even though, like, because I was a part owner of the company, even though I was paying for part of my profit was going to pay to bring these people out, they were still charging me to draw in my sketchbook sometimes. It's like, I don't know, because I'm not great socially like that. I'm going, I don't know how to navigate this, and and I just so now, like, I know he's a good friend of yours, but like every time I look at the Mike Grell sketch, I go, you charged me for that, and you wouldn't have been there if I hadn't partly paid for you to be there. So anyway, what can you do?
Swings and roundabouts. Take it with good grace.
That's what I try to do, exactly.
What's Hippo's wacky cousin? The shonky Hippo. He was
Hairbutt's brother.
Hairbutt's brother. Yeah,
Rocky.
Rocky. Yeah, don't trust Rocky. Just be more like Rocky.
Yeah, be more like Rocky, not like Hairbutt.
Yeah. Okay, Phil Noto. Who else would you have loved to have done a variant cover for Team Up number 1?
Oh, look at
someone like Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith.
Yeah, I can't remember who I asked, but yeah, they were the people who would have made a splash, raised the profile of the Kickstarter and brought in their own fans. But I obviously invited Jeff Smith to take part, and he said no. I don't know Mignola enough at all to ask him, so I didn't even bother. But like, how amazing would that have been?
Yeah.
And so
That would have been weird to see.
it would have been amazing, though.
Yeah. Wow. That would melt.
So this is the thing with Team Up, I'm hoping that eventually I'll have enough pages on the board where I'll just send somebody like Mignola or a PDF or even a hard copy and say, "This is fun. You want to join in and see what happens?" Because that would be amazing, right?
Speaking of Sam Kieth, just this morning I saw his post, a post by Joe Rubenstein, an inker over in the States, that he had inked some of Sam Kieth's, like a cover that had Spider-Man, I think it was the Max, and Wolverine. I think it was either Lobo or the Max. Anyway, but it was inked by Rubenstein. And boy, is it so, you can tell Sam Kieth is in there somewhere. Just with the basic structure of the bodies and the Wolverine mask and all that kind of stuff. But to have the professional gloss and sheen of Rubenstein's inking on it really made it look quite different.
Yeah, right. I've never seen that.
I think it was posted this morning on Rubenstein's Facebook account.
Yeah, right. I might have a look at that.
But anyway, different inkers do different wonderful jobs on different people. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like so part of what I initially wanted to do with Team Up was to ink all of the work, and that's not going to happen for time reasons. And some people just don't want to be inked, and some people don't really draw in a fashion that enables that as well. But yeah, I would love to have a crack at inking, 8 pages of Mignola drawing Hellboy and Trevor teaming up, and seeing what I can do to find the common ground there.
Yeah. So
it's like it's like that we've talked about it before, but I did that Inktober where I was inking a bunch of people, and there were a few artists where I went, no, I'd have to ink like 4 more still, or like just drawings before I really understand how I'm going to attack this. And one of them was Frank Miller. I was so disappointed with the way that my Frank Miller turned out, and I probably picked an image that wasn't really for inking, maybe, or
right, okay.
And he's gone through so many phases of the way that he attacks, what the finish is going to be like. So yeah, I probably needed to pick a different time period to see if I could
Plus, he could very well come down on the side of style over substance. Like when you start breaking down his artwork, it's like, oh, that arm that he's got there it looks great, but it's kind of wrong when I'm inking it. So how do I approach it to make it look right still, but it's still so wrong? And I think with him in particular, you might find that a lot with his artwork when you break it down.
Yeah. It was like I did 2 Kirby's that month as well, and
Kirby is another one. Yeah.
That I figured out how to continue. I think that's because he is, like, regardless of how, like, what you really think of Kirby's work, he's several levels above Frank Miller. Like,
definitely.
And it's because he can do this abstraction, and it's still, you give it to Sinnott or you give it to Royer or whoever is inking it, and they can find the 3-dimensionality of it and work within it, and it just still comes together. It's probably hard to mess up inking Kirby, even when you're really manipulating the finish of it to lean as much towards yourself as possible.
Have you seen Dave Stevens ink Kirby?
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's an interesting combo. It really works, I think.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I think that bicentennial Marvel Treasury edition where Winsor Smith inked, I don't know, 8 pages or 12 pages or something, nice and large. It was phenomenal. Every so often on Facebook or wherever you'll see pencils versus inks of those pages, and you just pore over them to see what did Kirby draw and how did Winsor Smith.
Yeah.
What did he do to manipulate it, but still keep it very Kirby?
And what a challenge. This is pre-digital, so what a challenge to actually get sent a parcel of Kirby pencils, and you've actually got to put ink on the original art over Kirby.
Yeah, how do they still have the the pencils to reproduce, or how have they got copies of the pencils? Were they photocopied, I guess, or
or bromided, statted, whatever they call them over in the States. They did
yeah,
pencil copies.
and or maybe Winsor Smith lightboxed them because he didn't want to put ink
Oh,
over
yep,
the top
yeah,
of the pencil.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, okay. So you're going to aim to ink the team up covers?
I'm going to do the whole team up covers, but that exclusive for Killaroo will probably be inked by Darren Close. But what I was saying though was I was hoping to ink all of the interiors. But I'm really looking forward to. I mean, you can't really see it obviously that well, but I'm looking forward
Yes,
to inking
that's lovely.
Emmanuel's
Yeah,
digital pencils for
yeah,
that.
yeah. And
That'd be
they're
great.
just random samples of
Yeah,
interior artwork.
yeah.
So to make a dummy cover.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's not what the cover will look like.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah,
So,
and the thing that started me talking about this was what were we talking about? I don't know, but I was looking this morning. I was looking at how long is it going to take me to turn around Green Pastures Team Up #1,
right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm thinking, gosh, I could have that finished and ready for press in 6 weeks, I reckon, like from
It's tempting,
scratch.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And when I say scratch, I mean, yes, I've got all the pencils by somebody else, and Jason Paulus's work is completely finished. But, my side of things I haven't even started on yet. So, I'm looking at a few days for lettering, a few days for scanning and cleaning up, a few days for production, design and production, probably at least 2 days for the cover. Covers take me forever.
Yeah.
But, there's 14 pages of that for me to ink. And I'm going, oh, do you reckon I
So
could ink
were
page
you
a day?
in your schedule of things? You were planning to have number 9 first, and then team up one.
Yeah. This first quarter of 2026 was supposed to be Green Pastures 9 because the trade paperback should have been done months and
Yeah.
months
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. So,
I'm inclined on grabbing that team up number 1 and getting that done and out the door.
absolutely, that is the plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've got conventions coming up. The Goulburn convention, I'm 99.9% sure I'll have the trade paperback. Um, uh, and then if we could get like a Green Pastures team up ready for the next convention, which is closer to June or July,
Yeah.
that'd be amazing to have that on the table for people to buy. And then it gives me, probably 3 to 4 months, to do number
Number
9.
9. Yeah. And to have a convention table with the volume 1 sitting next to team up 1 would be great. I reckon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to having new material on the table.
You're so close. You're so close to getting that trade done and out the way.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that early artwork won't have to be touched ever again.
I hope not. Oh my God. So
What?
the billion YouTube tabs that I have open at the moment, and I watch one at a time as I'm doing the remastering, or I have one at a time running. I'm not really watching them. Then
What, all Club Domingos? Why don't you play them all at the same time?
yeah,
Like 10 at a time. Just play.
I've done that. One of the videos I'm watching at the moment is Carson Gruber and Sean, is it Robinson? So Carson came on board with Dave Sims' latest project, which is The Strange Death of Alex Raymond, when Dave's hand just wouldn't draw anymore. He had a pain in his hand. So Carson came on to do a lot of the drawing work. So Dave would still write and then do paste ups for the layout, and then Carson would draw it. And the whole one of the really big aspects of The Strange Death of Alex Raymond as a book is Dave Sim teaching himself how to do these ultra fine brush lines like Alex Raymond and that era of comic strip artists would do. So there's page after page after page of just discussing how did they do it and where did it go and what level of realism were they working in, etc. And then the problem is, how do you reproduce that when you scan it and then how do you reproduce it as a gray tone, as a bitmap, and blah blah blah. So Sean Robinson, I'm pretty sure that's his name, has been either scanning or taking the scans of all the old Cerebus artwork for the remastered edition of the trade paperbacks there, and doing the same thing I'm doing, which is fixing where the screen tone either has gotten too heavy because it was shot poorly in the first place, or and just filling in the gaps where the screen tone has shrunk, etc., etc., which is all the stuff that I've been doing as well. But I've just been watching a series of YouTube videos where he's discussing this at great length, and it's not the cartoonist kayfabe episode where he also did this. That got so much traction that him and Carson decided to do an entire series on page to pixel to page.
Right.
And just I don't quite go to the extent he does, which is like absolutely, like, it is a few steps beyond what I'm doing, and I thought I was being crazy. But one of the things he said was he was comparing Carson's scanner, which is basically the scanner I've got, and his scanner, and they're both Epson scanners, but one of them is a much higher level, and going, the Workforce, which is the one I've got, is okay, but the one I've got is like 10 times better. I'm going, don't say that. Don't say that. I've just spent a year remastering from the scans that I got, and like, I do not want to say to myself, I bet you I could scan them better and do a better job. So but I'm not. There's no way I'm going to do that. But yeah.
Plus, how noticeable is the difference between A and B? To the reader, and you're going to be the arbiter of that quality line. And if you're happy with what you've got without having to rescan and upgrade it to something that only you are going to notice, if at all, it's not worth it.
It's and Strange Death of Alex Raymond, like that's the size of a comic book, is reasonably larger, significantly larger. And I think they're reproducing the artwork at the size it's drawn. So that was an issue, because you and I scan what we draw and then we shrink it down by 67% or whatever, which helps a lot. But they were zooming in on the scans that they were taking, and looking at the resolution, and basically saying, well, that means I could have drawn 600 lines, inside that inch, because that's how thin the line work is that I'm drawing, and we're trying to keep that and capture that. But Sean Robinson has become the go-to guy in America. I think they're kickstarting it now, or soon, or just did a book of illustrations by an illustrator. You maybe call him a cartoonist, but beautiful realist illustrator, all beautiful ink work, probably brush, maybe pen work, and it's just never been reproduced so well before, ever. And he's just making each scan like beautiful, and then making sure that the printing will hold the work that is in the bitmap.
That's the mystery trick, is you're dealing with a printer, and that's like, for all intents and purposes, it's a trade person, not a creative, although it's creative elements to that business. There's an extra person there that you have to develop a relationship with to make sure that you get the job you want at the end.
And they also interviewed Eddie. No, I haven't watched their interview with Eddie Campbell, but I watched 2 interviews with Eddie Campbell as well recently, from years ago, maybe 6 years ago or something. We're talking about the fact that he's gone totally digital and he doesn't draw on paper at all anymore, and blah blah blah. Which that's not the gist of this anecdote. The gist being, where was I going with that? That he once went to Preeny Printing, which was the Canadian press house that was doing Cerebus for Dave Sim, but also Bacchus for Eddie Campbell, and would print a lot of
From Hell.
That's right, From Hell, and they would print a lot of indie self-publishers' work, and Eddie was going, if you know Eddie Campbell, he's kind of, he's a bit flippant or whatever, and he'd be going, the reproduction's always really good, and I can't believe you're getting all my fine lines. And they'd say, well, you know, because he's saying you must shoot it well, because they actually shoot it with a camera, turn that into a negative, turn that negative into a plate, blah blah blah. And the guy at Preeny Press said, well, the page you're looking at is probably, maybe two, maybe four different shots that we did, and we're stripping them together to make sure we hold that line there, but it doesn't fill in over there, which almost nobody would do.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, talk about service.
Yeah, and that was back in the in the 90s when we were just independent self-publishers. So they would shoot the page and then go over it and going, well, this is blowing out and disappearing, and this is getting too. And that actually, this was only like yesterday or the day before. That actually made me feel like, well, I think I'm doing the right thing with what I'm doing in the remastering, because I'm basically doing the same thing. I've scanned the page, I get the levels to something that seems reasonable, and then I check over it, and some of it is filling in because the Letretone has actually got a half a millimeter thickness and is causing a shadow, and I need to lighten this area, and other lines are disappearing, so I need to make those lines a little bit thicker by going over it with the burn tool, which is basically what they were doing. If you change the exposure, you're either blowing it out or burning it in, one or the other. So
the great equalizer is keeping an eye on the lettering and the lines of the lettering, so that a little bit darker, a little bit lighter. You don't want to be able to read that stuff and be, that panel's got light lettering, that panel's got overexposed.
Oh my God, yeah.
Lettering.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be some jitter in the final product, because I am looking at it as a page by page basis, but this is the level at which I'm drawing a line. I can't worry about it any further than that.
Yeah, indeed.
And then the future proofing, which is exactly what you do, I think, is to make sure I've got super black ink work in everything that I work on now, and scan it while it's still young and black, and that will make for a much better scan that I don't have to spend a day cleaning up. So yeah.
Yes, all good.
Yeah, and then there's, I mean, we've had this conversation before, or parts of this conversation before, and then there's Jason Paulos, who sends me, I think it was 300 PPI work for the team up. I'm going, have you got a higher res? He's going, yes, that's res enough.
That's plenty. Yeah, that's plenty.
And he's probably right. So horses for courses,
So is his art at 300 PPI, is that presented at A3 size, or is it presented at print size?
I think that's print size, but it's got grey tone through it as well. So, and I could be wrong. Maybe it was 600. I should double check that before I continue to throw him under a bus. But yeah, it's we did have that conversation, and we brought it up here, and he's made commentary already on the Facebooks or whatever about it as well.
Right.
So his work is in the ready to publish folder. Let's have a quick look.
In the don't worry about it folder. Just do it. But supplying art at print size, though, really diminishes your ability to do oversized editions and all kinds of stuff down the track.
Oh, for sure. Let's have a quick look. It is image size. Yeah, 300 PPI at A4 size. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm going to be very happy to be put into a place when I get the printed object back, because what I ink for the Killaroo half will be scanned at 1200 PPI and then shrunk down by 67, which basically gives it more like is that 24? Does it go up to, because it's a third down, it doubles, or is it only going to get, anyway, somewhere between 18 and 2400 PPI is what is going to be printing in the first 14 pages, and then the last 10 pages will be at 300, and we'll go, nobody cares, right? It's like,
that's right.
There's almost no difference. So
plus, when you're exporting as a print quality PDF, does Adobe, and its converting of the file from InDesign or whatever you use to a print quality PDF, does that interpolate or reinterpolate those that high scan?
Not the way I do it. I don't let the initial creation of the PDF re reinterpret anything as far as image work goes. So
Right.
it becomes a really huge file,
Yeah, yeah,
and then in Acrobat I will redistill a new PDF at the right resolution or at a more reasonable resolution for printing if needs be.
yeah.
But sometimes all you have to do, like you output from InDesign, and because I've got they're only bitmaps, but they're 1,200 PPI bitmaps, then shrunk down to 67%. Uh, can create a really large file, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes all you need to do is open it in Acrobat and do a resave. So all it's doing is rewriting the code, not reinterpreting the imagery. And sometimes that's all you need to do, and it'll be a much smaller file. And as long as Baden at Jeffries Printing is happy to print that, then we're fine to go.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Yes, there is more than one way to skin a cat, but some work better than others.
But I'm sure that I've mentioned this before on the show, but I'm sensitive enough to it that when I picked this up from the printer back in 1990, whatever, um, as soon as I opened it up, I could tell that they had made the plates from photocopies instead of my original art. They'd photocopied my original art down to size and then shot that to make a plate
How
instead of
dare they?
yeah. I was really angry.
Yeah, that's a crappy way of nah, photocopying as your master. Nope.
Yeah, and photocopying down. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I was angry about that.
No respect for the art form. No
And,
respect at all.
and that's what Sean Robinson said. He said not maybe not so much now because once you hit 40, that's almost on the day is when your eyes start to become less agile. But he said he was hypersensitive to the bit mapping
Hmm.
in reproduction, and he could see bit mapping, and so could I. Right, I could definitely see when somebody was printing their comic as a bitmap, which is what you should do if it's black and white, but at nowhere near a high enough resolution, or what everybody else thinks is a high enough resolution, including the person who's doing the printing. I'm going, well, I can see the bitmaps from reading distance, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not putting up with that.
yeah.
So yeah, I know you don't care.
Interesting. Well, I care. I care a lot.
I
Is my
care a
face
lot.
saying I don't care?
No, we've talked about it before. You think it's a bit overkill what I do. Wake up, Grandpa.
What? Bitmap. Ah!
What do you scan at?
I scan my artwork in at 1200 DPI or
Yeah,
PPI,
yeah,
and then that's my master file. And then
yeah,
if it's and then I downsize it to 300 DPI at A3. So when it's imported into my InDesign program, it gets shrunk down and tightened up, and then exported
yeah,
out from there.
yeah. I don't know why you resize it before you take it into InDesign. Just pop the like if you convert your 1200 PPI grayscale or color scan, if you just convert that directly to bitmap so that it's black and white, it'll be a much smaller file at a much better resolution, and you can pop that straight into InDesign and output your like every step degrades the artwork and reinterprets and interpolates and
Yeah,
aliases
yeah,
and all of that stuff.
yeah. There's I reduce in InDesign. I don't reduce in Photoshop. So
But you said you
every
take
single
your
file is A3.
you take your but you take your master file of 1200 and convert that to 300.
When I'm coloring, yeah.
Oh, when you're coloring,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Oh my
If it's,
God, yes.
black and white
Sure.
line work or with just screen through it as well, that's a bitmap with 1200 DPI, and that's what I use to import
Sure.
and shrink down
Yeah.
and
Okay.
yeah.
No, that's fine. No, if you're coloring, I can totally understand why you'd go for 300. I
So if
usually
it's black and white line work, it's 1200 DPI bitmap. If it's
yes.
colored artwork, it's at A3, same
Yeah.
size as the A3 bitmaps. It's
Yeah.
300 DPI, CMYK, or
Yeah.
RGB, but mainly CMYK.
Yeah, exactly. I tend to keep my color work as high res as my computer can comfortably handled because I might want to print out a big poster.
Yeah.
So I don't have a copy sitting around, but the homage I did to the Jack Kirby Fantastic Four, This Man, This Monster, where I did This Bull, This Lawyer. I did that at a really high res, even though it was only going to be printed this big, which I'm very glad for because I printed it out
You
like
did some huge stuff. Yeah, yeah.
AO, I think, AO size. I printed it out and it looks amazing as a piece of art. So, yeah.
I have a similar problem right now with this CD cover is that they've mentioned that they'd like to do some posters to promote the CD. And so what does that mean? Does that mean I have to do not CD sized artwork, which will be a little bit larger, to fit on an A4 and an A3 front and back cover? Or do I have to go larger again to sustain them wanting to do posters?
That's a hard one. That is a hard one because if you do it large enough for poster size, when you print it out for CD size, maybe it won't look as punchy because of how small it is.
I'm going to err on the side of making CD line work as sharp and crisp and beautiful as possible. And if they have to blow that up and it looks a little bit, for a silk screened rock posters on the side of a wall, that's the secondary problem. Yeah. My main problem is doing the art appropriately for the CD cover.
The other thing is like a rock poster is not viewed from reading distance. It's viewed from a meter or more away, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, but yet I'm just about to launch into inking that, and I'm scratching my chin as to what size I should do the original artwork. Just for do I split the difference and do it a little bit larger for the poster, and a little bit larger than I would usually do for a CD cover.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I would probably err on the side of going at least a little bit larger.
Yeah.
Maybe draw it at I don't know. But I would definitely go a little bit larger.
I think I'm going to draw it as large as I can on an A3 Bristol board sheet and let the dice fall where they may.
Are you really? No, you're not.
Yeah, well, why not? What's the alternative? Going up again so that it's an A2 size?
No, like A3, like a CD is only that big. So
yeah, but it's a front and back cover, so you have to double the width. Yeah, so that's already getting to the point where if you do landscape version of A3,
that actually sounds reasonable. That's probably the right place to go.
That real estate is still being used up. Yeah.
Yep. I'm looking for. There it is. Trevor was on the cover of a CD once.
Right. Yeah.
But that was they saw the artwork for the cover of number 3, which I don't have a copy of here right now. So that's basically the cover of number 3, and said, "Can we put that on the cover of our CD?"
Yeah. What I might do as far as their usage for posters and stuff is supply them a very high res, like a 600 DPI, grayscale or whatever they want to use for the posters. So that if they want to interpolate it up, that's their choice. I'll just explain it to them that you know, uber high res there, so you can do with it. And blow it up to a certain extent.
As long as you get copies of the posters.
What am I going to do with copies of posters?
You'll give them to me the next time I come down.
Okay, right. Yeah. Sorry, I was all wacky then. Sorry, of course, they're for you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's how we got paid for this, because I did like always. We're crazy. I did all of the design and production for that as well, rather than just giving them the image and then hoping that they don't stuff it up.
Yeah, I think I've got to do that as well. Yeah. We haven't had that discussion, but I think they're so not used to dealing with graphic designers that they've sent me the back cover track listing and stuff like that, and I've gone, so there's no graphic designer involved here. Looks like I'm setting up some base file for them.
They're doing double duties. So
which is fine.
I got paid with some free CDs, and the band name was Headache. So with some Headache merch, I got a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, and a long sleeve t-shirt. I had some posters. They printed up a bunch of posters as well. So.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
You do whatever you feel like is going to be fun. Like at that point, that'd be fun to have a CD. So yeah. So
what shirt are you wearing?
I just am in an oil shirt.
Juster.
There it is. There's the CD.
Ah, right. Yeah, collector's item.
Yeah, and it is because it's signed by the band.
Yeah, in a jewel case. Geez, they don't have jewel cases anymore, do they? Do they still have that?
I don't know. This one's broken.
I think the one that I'm working on is going to be a cardboard cover, cardboard open up cover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
right. Mm.
That's broken. But
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I forgot
yeah.
that was in there.
We haven't even talked about what's being printed on this actual CD, like the label.
Right. Have they got a logo? Have they got their own logo?
No, I don't think so. No, but I think I'm about.
Designing that as part of the.
I think I'm about to find out the restrictions of the client and what they have. So we
Yeah.
shall see.
Oh, gosh. I'd be holding them over a barrel and saying, I'm going to have to charge you more because I was going to draw you a picture and now I'm doing layout and design and talking to the printers and doing your logo and
I just want it out the door. Anyway,
yeah.
yeah. Do you have anything on your list to talk about? On
Um,
your screen caps?
no, actually, quite weak on the screen caps. But I did go um, to that presentation that was at the uterus. I mean, at the UTS, um, at the University of Technology, Sydney,
Right.
organised by Gabe, Finn, and Pat.
Yep.
And that was great. It really was
Well
great.
attended.
Look, because I got there really early, I got told to sit in the front row, and so I didn't look around. So I don't know.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think it was as well attended as I would like it to be. But it was fine. It was good. But the presentations were good.
Right.
So in order of what they put on their promotion, not in order of the actual night. Lele talked about. It was interesting. A number of cartoonists talked about a similar thing, but Lele talked about it as well. Was hating the work that you do, going on. This is terrible. Like I don't, can I put that one away and start a new project now because it's awful work. So the amount of people who talked about that was really interesting. How we
Yeah.
hate our work
Yes.
almost as soon as it's done, if not beforehand. Um, uh,
This project I'm about to do, I hate it.
yeah, it's a bit like that. Um, so yeah, and I'm looking forward to picking up Lee's book on Wednesday night. I know that this will be going up on Thursday night, so you'll miss that. But I talked about it last week instead that they're doing a book launch, so I'm picking up the book there. Um, Pat Grant talked about his journey in academia as related to comics. And he did, I thought everybody was supposed to do this, but it turned out only he did it. But he did the picture kucha style of presentation, which is, what is it, 20 slides, and each of them is only allowed to be on screen for 20 seconds or something like that. And it's automated, so you can only talk to a slide for as long as it's
Oh,
there, and then
right.
it
Okay.
turns.
Yeah.
Um, so he tried to get a lot done within that short period, but it was really interesting. And the most interesting thing I think that came from that is the fact that UTS are really pushing hard to have a graphic novel or comic book or graphic narrative or however you want to phrase it course. They're really pushing to either have it much higher involvement in their animation design illustration course or whatever they call it, having having a stream, a really strong graphic narrative stream,
Mhm.
but then moving into a master's, which is just nothing but graphic narrative,
Right.
if
Wow.
not. And they already handle PhDs because PhD is a different thing entirely. But to actually have a master's in comics, basically. So
Hmm.
this is probably a few years away, but this is especially coming from Pat, I guess. The push for him is to get more and more comics into UTS as something that you actually learn there. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. I know where I work at JMC, they're talking about it, not to that extent, but always going, I wish we could, figure out a way to get a comics
Right.
unit or a comics course or whatever. There's nobody in Australia that quite offers it yet.
Mm.
So that was the interesting thing that came out of Pat's talk.
Mhm.
Um, Gabe and Meg talked about the Folio website. Finn McCabe just talked specifically about his journey through, I think, academia and comics as well. There was a person called Holly O'Neill who I'd never met before, who talked about not comics per se, but how she graphic records her work and like graphic narrative in a diary sort of fashion.
Right. Yeah.
And then there was a person called CJ Wu, WU, CJ Wu, who talked about the Zinemap, which is a project that they've created. And I think, let me just see, if you just type in Zinemap into Google, yeah, it's the first hit on Google. So look up Zinemap, it's one word, where it's a worldwide map, and you say this is where the good zine shops are, and this is where the good events are. And I'm actually a person who makes zines in this country, and this is where I live if you want to meet up. And so
So it's a
less
point
than
of
12
reference map.
months. Yeah, and I think it's less than 12 months that CJ's been working on it,
Right.
and how
Okay.
huge it's become already, and how they felt about how quickly this all happened, and how
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Wow.
yeah, they were the
Yeah.
talks.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Did you go for drinks and socialize afterwards?
Yeah, before I get to that though, I said to Gabe, "Thanks for putting on tonight. Let's do another." And he said that's the idea, that they're gonna put on more. So again, if you wanted to look it up, that was called graphic storytelling, one word, graphic storytelling social, number one. So they're definitely hoping to put it on more than once, and to just get people coming and talking about comics. They already do the Read to Me, which is a presentation of comics. So this is definitely more about talking about comics or relationships to comics, or that
Oh,
kind of very, very um, brief and succinct presentations, rather than huge lectures or anything like
right.
that.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, there
Good.
was afters. We kicked on for a while, and
Yeah.
uh, Dylan Horrocks, creator of Hicksville and other stuff,
Yeah. Right.
was
Yes.
in town, and he
Was
came
he? Was
along,
he
which was
there?
great.
He came along.
Yeah, he came
Oh,
along.
okay. How's he going?
He's great. Yeah, yeah. He's working on his PhD at the moment.
Right. Okay.
And his PhD is really interesting because comics is one of his loves, and role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons is another one of his loves. So his PhD is around storytelling, but I think specifically via role play and how
Hmm.
that works.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Um, Role-playing games. And his PhD, like if you're an academic, working in science, your PhD is all essay and, test results and stuff. But when you're in the arts, doing a PhD can be so many different things. So
Mm. Mm.
his PhD is he calls them three. He thinks that it's going to be three zines, and he says zines, even though the first one is already like 60 something pages. It's not a zine anymore. That's a book. And he said I think he said it was like a third each, third essay, one third comics, and one third a role playing game, which he has built.
Right.
Um, and
Hmm.
so I'm obviously interested in the comics part
Yeah.
of it, which I said to him. I said, "More comics, Dylan. That's the bit that I want."
More comics more often.
And he's doing a really interesting. It's not autobiography because it's make believe, but it is about him.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so I don't know if there's a term for that when it's
I think there is. I have to look it
yeah.
up. Yeah.
And he said there's lots of short vignettes and stories, alternate reality of what his life might have been if if he wrote the novels he was thinking of writing instead of doing the comics he was thinking of doing, and where that would have led, but not as a continuous narrative, but as like different sections of that life, and maybe because he said sometimes in some of the stories he'll be married and some of them he won't be married, and as a reader you'll be going, but in the other story, it doesn't seem
Yeah.
to. So
Yeah.
he's not worried about that kind of
Yeah.
continuity at all, which is really exciting. I'm keen to read it when I get a
Yeah.
chance. So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah,
Okay. So he would be back in New Zealand by now, or is he still?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They were only here for like 4 days or something.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that was exciting. That would be a good night
Yeah,
out. And you
yeah,
kicked on.
yeah. It was really exciting to be sitting between Dylan Horrocks and Pat Grant and listening to them talk. And
Talk
yeah,
about watching the show and what
that's
they think of
right.
it. Yeah.
Yes, telling me how great Club Domingo is.
Yeah.
So,
I
But
think
yeah,
that's
but
it.
otherwise on Friday night we'll see you at the pub because Gina and Owen are up from Adelaide, and then on Saturday morning we'll see you at the library at Paddington because Gina is launching her book. And oh, you had your book launches in your town too. Do you know how they went? Did
I'm
go?
just getting feedback from Facebook now. It looks like
Yeah,
it was pretty popular, the one at Fuller's Bookshop. So,
cool.
yeah, I think they all went well. But no, I didn't participate because
Yeah, because
I'm a hermit.
it was fair enough too. It was a double header over like for
Yeah, that's
twice,
right.
right?
Yeah, there was Fuller's
Double
on
header.
Saturday and Area 52 on Sunday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'm just following the socials to find out how that all went.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, they're all up your way now. Yeah,
Yeah. Gina's coming up.
yeah. What's our saying?
More comics more often.
Yeah, I'm going to press stop.
See you, kids.
Stop, pause recording, stop recording. I think I'll pause today. Bye, everyone. See you next week.
See ya.
Birthday show next week.
Can't wait.
I can open up all of my present.
I'll wear my birthday suit.
Please don't.